So, good morning, friends. My name is Ashan VC. I'm a assistant training officer of Little Flower Engineering Institute, Palamasheri. Today, I would like to go through the 8051 microcontroller. So, first of all, we need to know about what is a microcontroller. It is a microcomputer, just like your laptop or PC. Uh, It has also a CPU, RAM, input-output interface. A microcontroller is used for controlling purpose and data analysis. We know that a PC or a laptop, it will perform many tasks such as word processing, play music, play videos, can be used for video games, etc. So a laptop or a PC is a general purpose device. So what do you mean by an embedded system? Unlike general purpose devices, an embedded system is used only for a
Give
specific
him some
task,
time there. Let us know.
not
He'll,
too many tasks. For
huh?
example, a temperature
Kaya?
control. So the specific task of this embedded system is to control the temperature, not more than that.
Kaya?
I think someone is
Kaya?
disturbing
What is this?
in the class. Sir, hello? Hello? Okay.
Let him think.
So such type of systems are called embedded
Let
system.
him think and come.
You get the idea about the embedded system, I think.
दिल्ली भी नहीं जाएगा तुम सुबह का
Hello,
काम
sir.
नहीं दिखाओगे अम्मा
Hello.
ये पढ़ाए हैं नहीं दिखाएगा तो शाम को खेलने भी नहीं जाएगा
Hello, sir.
पटक जो पटकना है पटक तोड़ जो
Hello,
तेरे को
sir.
लगता है तू कर निकाल अपना फ्रस्ट्रेशन देखो
Hello,
बुद्धि दे
sir.
भगवान
Hello, someone is making noise in between the class. Hello, sir. Hello.
राम वो लिख भी नहीं रहा
Hello.
राम
Let
जो पढ़ा रहा है वो लिख
Hello,
भी
sir.
नहीं रहा है राम
let him do. Kaya?
Hello, sir.
मेरे में
Hello.
दिखा रहा है ना राम
Let him. Let my land. I last
Hello,
time.
sir.
कब उसको पूछना है क्या है? I know. Let him study first.
Okay, I'm continuing my class. One of the most critical need of an embedded system is to decrease power consumption and space.
ठीक है हम मेरे से बात धीरे धीरे से उसको सिखाना पड़ेगा क्या करें समझाएंगे एक एक चीज समझाना पड़ेगा
Hello, sir.
ये जो
Hello.
बोला
Hello, sir.
आटा
ऐसा
91 रुपीस दे
हाँ नहीं चावल भी खत्म हो रहा है खाना तो दोनों लोग
टुमारो ओनली आई कैन अभी आज के लिए बेकल नहीं गया रोटी वन नहीं
Hello,
8 किलो
sir.
ला दूंगा
नहीं 1 किलो नहीं चाहिए
मैं 1 किलो ನೀನು ಆಟ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ ನೀನು ಅವನ ತರ ಆಟ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಒಂದು ಕಿलो ತಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ नो प्रॉब्लम चावल कल ले लेंगे ना अभी के लिए बेकल अभी रात को क्या करेंगे अगेन प्रॉब्लम है सो अभी जाके एटलीस्ट 1 किलो ला दे आराम से मिलेगा कल और ला लेंगे
मैं वो बोल रही हूँ कि जरूरी नहीं है कि आपको 1 किलो लाना पड़े
अभी देख लो नहीं तो
नहीं होना चलेगा
ठीक है
Hello, sir. Hello. Hello. Sir, I am taking class now, but someone is making noise in between that. Okay. Okay, I'm continuing the class. Okay. So a microcontroller, it has a CPU, RAM, input-output interface. We can go for the 8051 family. we can go through the 8051 family overview. Basically, 8051 is the subset of 8052 microcontroller. So if we compare the 8051 with each of the 51 family, we can see that the main difference between 8051 and 52 is for 8051 is on-chip RAM is on-chip ROM. ROM is 4 kilobytes, and 8052 it is 8 kilobytes. As I'm annotating it here. So and the second difference is 8051 and has only 128 bytes of RAM, but for 8052 it is double, that is 256 bytes. So 8052 is preferred more. Third difference is number of timers in 8051 is 2, and that for 8052 is 3. And also 8052 has 8 interrupters. That is, interrupting sources in 8052 is 8 numbers, and that of 8051 is only 6 numbers. So these are the basic difference between them. Otherwise, both of them are very much clearly same itself. And we can see that both 8051 and 52 have its own on-chip ROM, but 8031 we can see that on-chip ROM is 0. It's 0. So there is no ROM inside the 8031 controller. So we need to interface an external ROM with the 8031 microcontroller. So I'm moving to the next slide. And this is the block diagram of 8051 microcontroller. Now let us look at the block diagram. Now, as I already mentioned, a microcontroller has its own CPU, RAM, input-output ports, on-chip ROM, and in this case of 8051, it has 4 input-output ports. As already you can see here, it has 4 input-output ports and a bus control, and it has a serial port. And through this serial port, we can transfer data 1 bit at a time, and it will receive and transmit. So let us look at each part one by one. First one is the timer, the counter, also known as counters. A timer is nothing but a counter that we studied in digital electronics. It is generally used to generate a time delay, or it is used to count events happening outside the microcontroller. This counting process is take place in the background, so processor need not take part in the counting process. So when counting finished, the timer will inform this to the processor. And in 8051, it has 2 timers, timer 0 and timer 1. Both are 16-bit. As we can see in the slide, that it has 2 timers, both are 16-bit wide. So after counting, the whole bits in the timer became 1, and this will inform to the processor. So next, we can discuss about the memory. We know that there are 2 types of memory, and basically memory is used to store the data or instructions. So there are 2 types of memory, as I already mentioned, ROM and RAM. And we know that ROM is slower than a RAM, and it is volatile, non-volatile. That is, when the power is, even there is no power, the data will still there exist in the ROM itself. But in the case of RAM, it is much faster than ROM, and it is also known as random access memory. It is volatile. It means that if the power is no, if there is no power, the data will erase automatically from it. So now we know that the microcontroller works based on an instruction created by human. This set of instruction is called program. So where this program actually stored, it is stored in ROM, that is read-only memory. So why can't you store in RAM? It's a question. Why can't you store in RAM? We can store in RAM, but we know that RAM is volatile. The program stored in RAM will erase automatically when power goes off. So we need to program RAM every time when device is on, and it is practically annoying. So that ROM is chose for storing our programs and instructions. Next, I need to show you how program or instructions are stored in ROM. For that, first we need to know what is ROM address. So what is ROM address? ROM address. It is nothing but the location number of a memory location. And we know every individual that we have their own address. Okay, what is the use of address? It is used to locate the house of a person. So just like locating a person's home, processor also need to locate each memory location of ROM. For that purpose, address is used. So here are our first ROM address is 00H. Here is the 00H. Um, so 00H is the address of the first location, and 001 is the address of the second location, and 002 is the address of the third location, and so on. For understanding, here I am taking a program. Please don't bother about the program. Our first instruction is move R5 hash 25H. Move R5 hash 25H, and its corresponding machine language is 7D and 25. 7D and 25 is the machine language of move R5 hash 25H. So how these 7D and 25 is stored? In the first location, that is the ROM address 0000, the 7D is stored, and in the second location, that is 0001, 25 is stored. So our next instruction is move R7 hash 34H, and its corresponding machine language is 7F34. So the 7F is stored in 0002 and the 34 is stored in 003. So we can examine that the 7D, only 7D is stored in 00 in first location. So each location can hold only up to 8 bit. That I will explain in the next slide. So 7D is stored in the first location, 25 is stored in the second location, 7 is stored in the third location. Just like that, all the machine code corresponding to the assembly language is stored in the stored from the first location to the corresponding addresses. So if we look deep into the memory, these codes are stored in binary digits, also called bits. Also called bits. Binary digits is the abbreviation of bits. Bits is the abbreviation of binary digit. So on the right side, in this slide, on the right side, I'm showing the hexadecimal value, and on the left side, I'm showing the address. I'm showing the address. So on the So in the first location, that is 000H, 7D is stored. So 7D is stored in the first location. So here shown the binary value of the 7D. We know that 7D is hexadecimal value and its binary is 011111101. So I hope you know the conversion method. That's from hexadecimal to binary value. So I'm not talking about the conversion method. So 7D is a 8-bit number, and an 8-bit constitute 1 byte. So each location is 1 byte, and that is 0001, 0002, 003, etc. are 1 byte location. So each location is contain 1 byte. I think everyone understood this concept. The first column there, and we can consider the first column. The first column, that is D7. D7 is our first column, and it is called the MSB, also known as most significant bit. And the last column, which is known as D0, it is also known as the LSB. LSB means least significant bit. And this is how program is actually stored in the ROM. And next we can discuss about the RAM allocation in 8051. Here also address is shown on the left side, and the first 32 bit. The first 32 bits means this 0021 is used for register banks. And there are 4 types of register banks in the RAM. They are register bank 0, register bank 1, register bank 2, and register bank 3. And register bank 1 is also known as stack, and it has some other purpose. And during program, we might have come across the R0 to R7 registers. Actually, these registers are residing in these registers bank. And the next 16 bits means 18 to 1, no, 20 to 2F, sorry, 20 to 2F. It's the next 16 bits. It is used for bit addressable RAM. And after I will explain what is bit addressable RAM. Then the next 18 bytes, that is 30 to 7F. It is used for scratchpad, and it is used for scratchpad. These 18 location, that is this scratchpad area, are widely used for the purpose of storing data and parameters by the 8051 programmers. I'm repeating again, these 80 locations of RAM are widely used for the purpose of storing data and parameters by 8051 programmers. So this is all about RAM, and we will continue in the next slide. It's also the continuation of RAM. Here we are using 2 terms, that is bit addressable location and byte address. The bit addressable means we can use a single bit location for data management. That is, here in the case of 8051, bit addressable locations are from 20 to 2F. That is 20 to 2F is the bit addressable location. And that is only 16 bytes are bit addressable. So these 16 into 8, which is equal to 128 bits, provide bit addressability. And they are addressed as 002, that is, they are addressed as 002 7F. 7F. Therefore, bit addresses 0 to 7. Bit addresses 0 to 7 is used for location 20. That is RAM location 20H, and 820F are the bit addresses of the second byte RAM location 21H, that is 0 to 8 08220F is the bit address of the second RAM location 21H, and so on. So the last byte of 2FH has bit addresses from 78 to 7F. Note that the internal RAM location 20 to 2F are both byte addressable and bit addressable. So these locations can be used both as byte addressable and bit addressable. So for example, if I use an instruction setb42h, here I'm showing, and if I'm using the setb42h instruction in my program, after executing this instruction setb42h, this location 42 location became 1. That means 1 is stored in this location after executing this program. And if I executing clear 40h, this 40th location became 0. So only in microcontroller programming, there are single bit instructions, and these single bit instructions are used for bit addressability. Next is special function registers. In 8051, the accumulator register, also called ACC, that is ACC, the E0 address. It has the address E0, and some other registers like register B. Actually, this register B is used for multiplication purpose, and accumulator register is used for addition purpose, and program status word PSW, and these group of registers are called special function registers. And some of the registers of special function registers are bit addressable. We can see that these BACC, PSW, IP, P3, IE, P2, SCON, P1, TCON, P0 are bit addressable, and other are not bit addressable. And about 21 registers are using here, and out of 21, only 11 are bit addressable. And this is all about the special function registers inside the CPU. And we know that 8051 have 128 bytes of RAM. So this special function RAM address takes another 128 bytes. So next we will discuss about the CPU inside the microcontroller. Here is the block diagram of CPU, and it has an ALU, also known as arithmetic logic unit, program counter, instruction register, instruction decoder, timing and control units, and internal registers and flags. Let us discuss one by one. So program counter program counter is a register which points to the address of the next instruction to be executed. As the CPU fetches the opcode from the ROM, the program counter is incremented to point to the next instruction. That is, for while fetching data from ROM, this program counter is incremented, thereby new addresses are generated. And it is a 16-bit wide register. This means that the 8051 can access ROM addresses 000H to FFFH, a total of 64K bytes of code. A total of 64 kilobytes of code. That is the maximum code that a 8051 can fetch. So we all know that 8051 has an internal ROM which is only about 4K. So if we need to expand the ROM, we can expand up to 64 kilobytes. Next, we will discuss about the instruction counter, instruction or instruction decoder or instruction registers. So after fetching the opcode from the ROM, it will store in the instruction register. From instruction register, opcode is given to the instruction decoder section. And the instruction decoder decode the opcode to generate the required control and timing signal. This is the role of instruction decoder. That is just decode the opcode. Okay, that's all. Next, we will discuss about the ALU. ALU, it is also called arithmetic and logic unit. It will perform the arithmetic operations like subtraction, addition, and the logic operations like AND, OR, XOR. And using a multiplexer, the CPU, the processor will select the required result essential for it. And this is the role of ALU. That means it consists of a multiplexer and subtraction unit, AND function unit, add function unit, OR function unit, and XOR function unit, and a move function unit. Move means it will move data from one register to other register. So what was actually happening inside a microcontroller? We can discuss it now. In a microcontroller, it has a processor, as we already discussed that, and a memory and other parts. The program is stored in the ROM, not in RAM. It is stored in ROM. Don't make confusion. Program is always stored in the ROM. The program counter, also known as PC, is inside the processor. As we discussed earlier, the first address generated by the program counter is 00H. And if we reset or just put off the microcontroller, the default address generated in the program counter is 00H. And this that is the first location of the ROM address, and this address value is given to the address line of the ROM to get the opcode at the 000H location, which is the first location. So getting the opcode from the ROM is called fetching. So fetching means getting or take the opcode or instruction from the ROM to the processor. So the opcode is fetched from the ROM, and during fetching time, the program counter is incremented, and thereby the next address location is generated. And it will be, and in this case, after 000H, it will be 0001H. So after fetching the opcode, it is stored in the instruction register. And from the instruction register, the opcode is decoded. Opcode is decoded and produce the essential control signal. For processing the data, and if it is essential, it will store back the data to the memory. So now the address line contains 0001H. The next opcode address fetches again to the processor. The fetching time program counter is incremented again, and so after fetching, opcode is stored in the instruction register and it is decoded, and this process continue till every ROM location is fetched completely. And this is what happening inside a microcontroller. So the first location of memory generated by the program counter is always 000H. Please keep it in this in mind. That is, when we switch on the controller, or when we reset the controller, the default address location generated by the program counter is always 000H. So it will fetch the first opcode from the first memory location of 0. So next we can discuss about the pin details of the 8051. 8051 is a 40 pin IC, and the 14th pin is VCC, that is the power. Power is given here, which require a +5 voltage supply at this pin, and the 20th pin is the ground. The 20th pin is the diagonal. We can see that it is the diagonally opposite to the 14th pin, and ports. And we can discuss about the ports. There are four ports are there.
One clutch gear नाही राहत.
Sir, please don't make a noise in between.
मेरे को छोड़ के रुक जा मेरे को भी
There is a disturbance in between the class. Sir, there is a disturbance in between the class. Please unmute all the. We can discuss about the pin details of the 8051 family. As you already know, that the 14th pin and the 20th pin are used for supplying voltage. That is, VCC is supplied to the 14th pin, and the ground is supplied to the 20th pin. And the 8051 have 4 ports named as P0, P1, P2, and P3, where each port takes 8 pins. And these ports can be used as input or output pins. So the 9th pin is the reset pin, and it is an active high pin. That is, when a reset pin is connected to the VCC, 8051 is became reset. So we know that when reset happened, the program counter became store the value 0008. That is the first memory location. And the next pin is the 10th and 11th pin is used for serial communication, which is RxD means receiver pin and TXD means transmitter pin. The pin 12 and 13, which is used for external interrupts, that is pin 12 and 13. And the pin 14 and 15 is used for timer. timer outputs, and the 16 and 17 are the write pin and read pin. And this is actually used when we use an external ROM. If you are using on chip ROM itself, we don't need this pin. And this 18 and 19th pin is used to connect the crystal, and in the our next pin is 31st pin, which is also known as external access pin. External access pin, and the 31st pin, it is an active low pin. It is used when a processor uses the external memory. That is, if we are using external memory, 31st pin, that is 31st pin or A bar pin is connected to ground. This is what I am showing here, an external access, that is A is grounded here. Okay. Otherwise it is connected to VCC. And the slide 20 the 8031 here shows the external access. The pin 13th pin, which is ALE pin. ALE pin, that is the 13th pin. And it is also used when an external memory access is required. It is also used when an external memory access is required. In port 0, we can see that both address and data is coming. How it will be recognized? So in port 0, we can see that in port 0, both address and data is coming, AD0 to AD7. A means address and D means data. So both address and data is coming in this port. So in order to recognize this, ALE pin is used. So ALE is connected to a latch, namely the 74LS373 IC is used as a latch. So when port 0 is containing address, then at that time ALE gives a high value. So this high value makes the D flip-flop inside the 74LS373 to activate. So the address at that time is latched or stored in the D flip-flop. So when ALE is not active, data is presented here. So data is directly given to the ROM. And this is the working of ROM. And our next pin is the PSEN pin, which is also known as program store enable pin. And it is used. It is also used when there is an external access needed from the external memory. So ROM or memory, and PSN is activated only when it is an output pin. So it is activated only when the external access pin is grounded. So these are the here I am showing an 8031, and we already discussed that 8031 has no external ROM. So we need to attach an external ROM to this 8031. So during this attachment, we need to consider all these things. That is, we need to connect a 74LS373 latch IC in between them, and the address lines is connected indirectly to the ROM through this IC 74LS373, and data is connected directly to the ROM. So, and we've seen that this PSEN pin, which is activated only when or it gives a high value, gives a low value when A is grounded. If A is given to VCC, PSEN give high value. So thereby the ROM is deactivated, and the PSEN is connected to the OE pin of the ROM. OE means output enable. So when output enables gets a low value, at that time only this ROM, that the program ROM, is activated. Otherwise it will be deactivated. So PSEN will be become low only when EA is external access is grounded. And this is the working of these pins. I think everything is covered, I think, and we can discuss next. We can discuss about the 8051 features, and we know that it has 4 kilobytes of on-chip ROM inside it, and it contains and consists of but 128 bytes of on-chip data memory, and we can extend the storage capacity of 8051 from 4 kilobytes to only up to 4 kilobytes, and it uses an 8-bit data bus, that is D0 to D7, and it is bidirection. Bidirection means it gives out the data, and it's also takes the data. That's the bidirection is. But 16-bit, and it also uses 16-bit address bus, and it is unidirectional. That is, it will not take the address to the processor. It will give out the address. That is, and we know that this address is generated by the program counter, and it has a 32 general purpose registers, each of 838 bits. It is actually located in the RAM area, and also we know that the 8051 have two timers, each of 16-bit wide, and 4 parallel ports, each of 8 bits, and a total of, that means a total of 32 pins are used for ports, and these ports can be used for input and output interface, and one 16-bit program counter and one 16-bit data pointer, and the maximum frequency in which this microcontroller works is 12 megahertz, and it has a full duplex serial communication port. It has a full duplex, that is, it will transmit the data as well as it will receive the data. So these are the main features of 8051 microcontroller. Next, with this slide I am concluding my session. After that you can ask the questions. So now let us see what's the difference between microprocessor and microcontroller. A microprocessor is used for general purpose device, but a microcontroller is a single chip computer, and in microprocessor there won't be any on-chip input output ports, timers, etc. So the design of microprocessor based system is complex and expensive, and it is used as a CPU in computer. And in the case of microcontroller, there would be ROM, RAM, timers, interrupts, etc. So the design of microcontroller based system is simple and less expensive, so that microcontrollers are actually used for the design of embedded system. So with this, I am concluding this session, and if you have any question, you can ask now, and you can mail me your questions to my mail, and I will reply through my mail itself.